Hello. How are you? How's it going tonight? I'm Joe Hart. I'm a person with disabilities, primarily in invisible disabilities. I'm going to try to stay on topic and try to cover what's necessary or, what's, pertinent. And then try to keep it fairly punctual. I'm shooting for 30 minutes or so, something like that. But anyway, welcome. Everybody's welcome. Hello to all the live viewers, live spectators, live listeners. I know some people call them lurkers, but I only have a couple of them. Mostly they're just, listeners and things like that. Spectators. So welcome, and feel free to make comments about what platform you're watching me from. That would be great. If you could let me know, that would be really cool. As I usually say often on my streams, I'm streaming to my laptop right here on StreamYard. And one of the plans, the one I'm on right now, which probably will get changed pretty shortly because it's very, it's pretty costly. And I'm not seeing it has to be worth its while, and it seems like it's not currently. But I'll continue trying and testing and things like that. But I just wanted to shout out to all the platforms that are watching me and listening to me. Hello to Facebook profile. Hello to Facebook page. I have the two of them. I don't quite understand the difference, but I have one of each. And then a LinkedIn profile. Welcome, and thank you for all your comments and the people that visit from here. You can make all the platforms, I believe, can make comments resident to their platform, and some of the platforms can make a comment resident, that will come over here to StreamYard. Not all of them, but anyway, hello to my two YouTube channels. There's my primary channel, JoeHart PwD's 8641, and then my backup channel. I guess I should be. Let me type a couple things in here. I don't know what to do first. Let's see here. Let's do YouTube. I write it once and it gets written 4 times, and then Nightbot responds in kind. An error has occurred. I'm not sure what that error is. So, but yeah, I have a backup channel that's Francis Assistant dash do 2 letters, number 1, and then 2 more letters. And if I'm not looking at them, I might get them wrong. There it is. Please subscribe to my primary channel, JoeHart PwD's 8641, and my backup channel, Francis Assistant -NK1GC, as in Nancy Kevin 1 George Charlie. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So this week in motorsports, I'm still working on transferring this system to somehow transferring it somewhere on StreamYard. I was thinking of going, typing this up, but that's not working as easily of a transition as I thought it would be. So I think I need to come up with something else, like scanning, or I don't know what to do yet. So anyway, so this week in motorsports, which is this week, and that's my weeks are from Monday to Sunday. There's occasional exceptions like Labor Day and stuff where, the Sunday weekend goes into Monday and things like that. But generally it's Monday to Sunday. Sunday is usually the biggest day in motorsports for most series. NASCAR Cup Series, Formula One, MotoGP, usually IndyCar, but IndyCar is big on Saturday too. And so that's about it. The primary ones are Sunday. So that's why that's the last day of the week. So Monday to Sunday. So anyway, that's March 27th through April 2nd for this week. And so on March 30th, 31st, April 1st and 2nd, Thursday through Sunday, Formula One comes to Melbourne, Australia, to Albert Park. I think it's called Albert Park. And it's in the city of Melbourne. And that's a pretty busy weekend. That's probably why it also starts on Thursday. But it's Formula One, Formula Two, Formula Three, and supercars. And supercars I covered a couple weeks ago for its opening race, and a week ago on my shorts, which on some of my platforms it was my most popular short by like tenfold. I'm not sure where that came from, but Supercars is based out of Australia. Anyway, it's a standalone series of V8s, and they're really big cars, and they're really powerful, and they're very fast, and they're very loud. So a lot of people like them. But for this, it's a supporting series because F1 is always, F1 tops anything else in the world. So anyway, Formula One, Formula Two, Formula Three, and supercars in Melbourne, Australia. And I'm going to go over the schedule a little bit also of that weekend, because I've got all 5 of those events scheduled already on my StreamYard. So free practice 1, free practice 2, free practice 3, qualifying, and then the race, or plus the pre-race. But yeah, I'll go over that in a little bit. IndyCar, which I think is their second. Oh man, I was gonna highlight them. I didn't do it. Sorry. I think this is the second race for IndyCar, and it is at Texas Motor Speedway, which is generally a NASCAR track. So it's going to be NASCAR. It's going to be NTT data in IndyCar series. And then also the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. They do a little crossover. They do IndyCar and NASCAR together in Texas this weekend. And that's at Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth, Texas, in the city of Fort Worth. And then for March 31st, April 1st and 2nd, MotoGP. Its opening was last weekend. So this is the second race of MotoGP. And it's in Argentina, Termas de Redondo. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting, but I think it's a fairly famous track in Argentina. And then SCCA official, SCCA News, which is Sport Car Club of America. That's in Summit Point, West Virginia. Fred, how are you? I'm just going over the weekly schedule. How are you, Fred? It's good to see you. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to transfer this. This has been my weekly system for the schedule for 5, 7, 9 years, and I'm having trouble transferring. Making it easier for you all to interact with. And also, like I've already seen twice, I can't read my own writing, but so I wanted to get this. I thought I could just type it up, but that wasn't working. But anyway, so Formula One, Formula Two, Formula Three, and supercars is in Australia this weekend. And then IndyCar, their second race of the weekend, is at Texas Motor Speedway, which is notoriously NASCAR. And there's a crossover. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is there. So NASCAR's third to the top series, the Truck Series, and IndyCar are both at Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. And then MotoGP, the motorcycle, which is MotoGP is almost as famous as Formula One. I'm not into motorcycles nearly as much, but nothing is more famous than Formula One. But probably a close second is MotoGP. Probably because of the personalities, and there's some pretty famous drivers that do some really daring things on motorcycles. It is pretty amazing how they have that exoskeletal, their fire suit is this, they can't stand straight up. It's kind of like a skeletal, I don't get it, but their knees are almost touching the ground each turn they make. And so when their knees do hit the ground, they go spinning and they go skidding like on their rump or stuff, for hundreds of feet. And this exoskeletal thing protects them or something. NASCAR, if you're in an I don't know the formal wording, but roughly if you're in an accident or if you hit the wall or if you blow a tire, you must go to the medical center. But for MotoGP, there are sometimes they skid at least 100 yards and they run to their bike, and the helpers are trying to help them either bring the motorcycle back to the garage, but they're saying, get it up so I can restart it. So they get the motorcycle up, the guy jumps on it and then continues in the race. So, that's amazing. I usually side with safety. So, I'm not sure if it's the smartest thing to do, but that's what those motorcyclists can do. Anyway, so SCCA is at Summit Point in West Virginia. That's I've never been there, but I have a connection to it with the internet radio connection I had at the SCCA events, and they're the ones who got me to they primarily got me to COTA, Circuit of the Americas, for the first time, and probably helped with me getting there for the second time. So I owe them a debt of gratitude. And then NHRA is so there's a lot of series doing back to back. MotoGP was last weekend and this weekend. NHRA was last weekend and next weekend, and neither of those are usually every weekend, but they are this time. So NHRA is in Pomona, California, city of Pomona. Pomona Raceway. I've never been there. That's where their final is for the end of the, and I forget how many races they have, like 21 races or something, but 3 locations they go twice. And Pomona, obviously it's the last race of the year, so it's really special. And then it's going to be this weekend. And then NASCAR Cup Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series is going to be at Richmond. I don't care for Richmond, and so I'm not going to cover it much. And then the TCR Series, Coppa Italia Turismo, is at Vallelunga in Italy. And then, golly, I should have mentioned this sooner. The SRO. So anyway, so I'm doing fine. Fred says I'm doing fine. How are you? I'm doing pretty well. Sorry that that's Nightbot. Thank you, Nightbot. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I don't know if you care about any of those. I do appreciate you stopping by, because I'm sure motorsports aren't. Although I think that's how we first connected, either North Carolina or South Carolina, and I think we connected over motorsports like years, like 10, 12 years ago on whatever platform, Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever. So anyway, SRO Motorsports Group is having their opening weekend. Roughly, their GT America had a standalone race at the St. Petersburg of IndyCar, but this is where all of them are performing. GT World, we did, yeah, a long time ago, huh? That was so anyway, yeah. Let me know which ones you prefer. I'm not. I do apologize. I feel a little different tonight, so I apologize for that. So but yeah, let me know which ones you care about more than others. So So SRO is going to be at Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma, California this weekend for their opening. And so it's all the American series. So GT World Challenge America, GT4 America, GT America, and TC America, which I think it's called TC America by Skip Barber. So I think they've merged those two together. Last year, when I was at Indianapolis, that was two different series. TC America was different than Skip Barber. Now, neither one of them had a ton of drivers, so I can see Formula and NASCAR. Well, cool. So what do you think about so Formula? I'm piecing. I don't know if you've seen any of my shorts. Those are kind of, I like my shorts. They're 60 seconds or less, and I've done about 10 of them, and I really like them. But I'm planning to do one for this week, or one or two or three or whatever. But one is, to lead up into Australia, the Australian GP this weekend in Melbourne, Australia. I wanted to have like the top 5 topics or questions, and I'm still evolving, but the 5 questions I know the first 3. The first 3 are going to be, do you think that Max Verstappen will absolutely annihilate everybody this weekend because he's so upset about last week? That's question number 1. And, is he capable of doing it? But I think Red Bull is that far ahead of everybody that he could. And then the second question, will once again Fernando Alonso be on the podium? It seems like Aston Martin is here to stay. I mean, it's only been 2 races, but I would say Fernando Alonso is kind of here to stay. He's like I said, it's only 2 races. There's 23 races. A lot can happen in 21 races. Plus, it's Alonso, so he can get just fired up and get PO'd and all the stuff he normally does. And then what's the third question? Will Lando Norris / Mercedes, McLaren score any points this weekend? Will Lando show up for 2023? He hasn't shown up for 2 races. So, and that's my third question. And then I was going to come up with a 4th or 5th question. So I don't know if you can think of any for this weekend, Fred. That's kind of what I wanted to do in my short. And there's 60 seconds. So I got to bam, 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 bam. Anyway. So NASCAR, I went over the results last night, but let's see here. So J-Ski, let me I'll just go here. Results. I'm off screen for me, but I think you can still see me. But let me see. So Las Vegas, Phoenix, Atlanta, COTA. Okay. So I just pulled up the results again. So I don't know if you want to talk about who. Let's see here. Present, share screen. So let me see. So yeah, I'm sure you watched the race and stuff, and it was there's 4 or 5 solid cars in front that kept rotating. Tyler Reddick being certainly one of the strongest, but maybe I can refresh my memory as I go down the list here. So yeah, speak up on who you like, Fred. I'm gonna probably keep me on the screen just so you can see me and stuff, and everybody else can see me and stuff. But I'll probably I'll go off screen so I can't see comments and people coming in and out. But anyway, this is NASCAR Cup Series race number 6. Race results for the Echo Park Automotive Grand Prix, which was 2 days ago, Sunday, March 26th, 2023 at the COTA Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Now that says 3.41. That's wrong. It's 3.426. 3.426, which is significant. I don't know why anyway. So miles paved. Total race length 75 laps. I don't know if they multiplied it correctly. Anyway, we probably know that Tyler Reddick won the race, and he was definitely one of the strongest teams. Kyle Busch was pretty strong. He got second. Alex Bowman was pretty sharp. He was third. Ross Chastain, fourth. William Byron definitely was probably the strongest car of the whole day. He got fifth. Austin Cindric was really strong for the first half of the race. And then something happened to him. Stenhouse, never heard of him the whole day. Buescher led some laps, but that was during gas, fuel stops. Ty Gibbs, don't know. Todd Gilliland, Corey LaJoie, 11th place for him. Let me go back to the comments, see if anything is up. But yeah, Fred, who's your? Do you have a driver in both Formula and NASCAR? Or do you just watch them and stuff? So what do we got? Corey LaJoie, Michael McDowell, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson was, I think, pretty strong, wasn't he? I think he was up front. He's 14th. That's a bummer. Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Jenson Button got 18th, which is really good for him. He qualified much lower. He practiced much lower, and he was, timid. And he drives like he's a Formula One driver, because he is. Justin Haley, Noah Gragson, Riley Blaney. Ryan Blaney started last or close to it, and he finished 21st, so that's cool. Harrison Burton, Eric Jones, Jordan Taylor, 24th. He was way better than that for most of the race, but I guess something happened. Cody Ware, 25th. Anytime he's not last place, he's done really well, and that's 14 places above last place. So that's really good. Josh Bilicki, Daniel Suarez. Oh, I love him. 27th, bummer. Joey Logano, I like him. 28th, bummer. Kimi Räikkönen, I love him. He was who I was focused on, but they call him they call all those people ringers, but they're celebrities. They're old and they drive Formula One and they're too timid for NASCAR, that kind of stuff. So they're celebrities. They're not really ringers. But anyway, 29th, that's about it, how everything went, his qualifying and practice, I do believe. Eric Almirola, who cares? Christopher Bell, 31st, but bomber. Ryan Preece, boy, did he have a heated interview after the race. He said some people need to get their rear end beat up. He used a little harsher words than that. Austin Dillon, AJ Allmendinger, wow, 34th. Boy, did he screw up. What happened there? Let's see. Accident. Brad Keselowski, Connor Daly, again, one of the ringers are celebrities, but Bubba Wallace, he did a horrible interview. I guess he's a manic depressant or something. I guess he's diagnosed depressant, or I don't know his scoop, but it was not a good interview, and he said he ought to be replaced. And I don't disagree with him, but wow, put it out there. Whew. Jimmy Johnson, second to last. Ty Dillon. Oh, what a bummer. So anyway, I hope I tried to cover the critical people. I just love to watch. Oh, the races. Oh, cool. Yeah. It was I saw a stat and I didn't there's a lot of I do watch a lot of NASCAR things and stuff, and but I don't ever remember. I don't quote them, but I think I heard Larry McGrenna, who's he's in the details and stuff, and he had a chart of the number of road courses, and I guess as we all know, there were 3 road courses forever. Which is that right? There was Sonoma and Watkins Glen. I thought we only had 2, because both of those are single races. Neither one of those were ever 2 times a year. But anyway, his chart said there was 3 road courses. I thought it was always 2. But it said 3 road courses for a ton of years, 12, 15, 17 years. And then it went to 7. And then it went to 6. And then this year it went to 8. So 8 road courses. So, I mean, they're definitely embracing him. They're definitely taking him on. I mean, I loved Marcus Ambrose, and he was great at Watkins Glen. And he won there once or twice or something like that. But I mean, if he tried NASCAR Cup Series for. I loved him, and I loved his family, and I thought it was great that he took a break from supercars in Australia and came over here and tried NASCAR Cup Series. And he was a great interviewer, and he was charismatic, and he was fiery, and he was great. And but he just never. He didn't do as well as he thought he wanted to, that he could do. I thought he did pretty well. I mean, he didn't, flourish, but anyway, I mean, if he was in NASCAR now with 8 road courses, even with the drivers that, back then everybody wanted a ring or substitute driver because no one knew how to drive road courses. Now most drivers know how to drive them themselves, so they don't usually get, Boris Said or anybody like that. And Boris Said taught all the people, and then he taught himself out of a job. But he probably made more money teaching them, and whatever. So he even with everybody improving on how to drive road courses, I would love to see Marcus Ambrose in the series now with 8 of them. Anyway, he's always been one of my favorites. So anyway, let's go over the I'm sorry that I'm kind of, let's see here. This week in motorsports, I covered that, shorts and reels, and then Australian GP and SRO. So yeah, let's go to the Australian GP, and I'll go over the schedule. There's a time change this weekend in Australia, or at least where the race is, Melbourne, Australia. And so Friday and Saturday, there's a certain number of time difference. I think it's 15 hours. And then I've got race car drivers from around the world that are my Facebook friends. Oh, that's so cool. Wow, that is so cool. Marcus Ambrose? Oh, that's cool, Fred. It's I've been lucky and blessed to be at a lot of races, and I've met, not met like friends, but met like media, a fair amount of drivers and stuff. So that's been really nice. And even non-media, I've been pretty blessed. I've been in the garage, and so anyway, yeah, that's kind of cool. Wow, your Facebook friends, that is so cool. So I'm gonna thank you, Fred. Thanks for sharing that. So I'm gonna let's see here. So I'm gonna go full screen layout just so everybody can read this. But like I said, Friday and Saturday is a certain time difference. It's 15 hours, I think. And then Sunday's different. I don't know if it goes to 14 or 16, but you'll notice that the times, they're not the same difference as the other days. But anyway, so let me go off screen. I'm off screen to you all, but now I'm going to go off screen to me so I can't see comments or people coming and going. So this is Formula One Rolex Australian Grand Prix 2023. And I've already converted everything from the track time to my time. What happened to practice one? Okay. So today is the 28th Tuesday, and the first event, the free practice one, which, there's other first events, but that's the primary first event for Formula One. So free practice one is Thursday night, March 30th, because of the time difference, 15 hours ahead. It's Thursday night in Eastern Standard Time, March 30th, Thursday night, from 9:30 to 10:30. And, on ESPN, one of the channels, it's on my, I don't have it right in front of me, but it starts at 9:25. It starts 5 minutes early, and then it goes for an hour. And then free practice 2 is a few hours later, but the next day. So it's, it's after midnight. So it's March 31st, Friday, 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. The same thing. It starts at 12:55 on the broadcast. And then the next night, kind of, but it's still March 31st. Free practice 3 is 9:30 to 10:30, so that starts at 9:25 to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then qualifying is April 1st, which is Saturday. I'm getting confused. Yeah, so April 1st is Saturday, and that's 1 to 2 a.m. for qualifying. And again, that starts at 12:55 for the broadcast. They start 5 minutes early. Now, this is where it changes. So let's go to the track time. What's going on here? So track time, as you can see, they go from, just look at the hour part of the first time. So anyway, free practice 1 is 12, then 16, then 12, then 16, then 15. So it's 12, 16, 12, 16, 15. So April 1st, April 2nd, it goes from 16 to 15. So let's click on my time, and you'll notice that it stays the same. So 16 and 15 becomes 1 and 1. They both become 1 because the time change on Sunday. Anyway, I hope that's not too confusing. So the final race, the main race, is April 2nd, Sunday at 1 in the morning. So that's, they finish within 2 hours. So that's would be done by 3. 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. with the pre-race starting an hour and a half before that, which the time wouldn't change. Anyway, no, I guess the time did change. So it would be 11:30 p.m. Saturday for an hour and a half until 1 a.m. Sunday for the race. Anyway, I'm sure I made that far more confusing than it needed to be. So anyway, I think I've covered just about everything I wanted to cover, Fred, and everybody else. And like I always like to shout out to my I appreciate and I welcome and I thank all my spectators and viewers and listeners and everybody else. And I love it when you make a comment and let me know what platform you're watching me from. That always helps. So I wanted to just, as I'm winding down here, I'm just going to shout out all the platforms that I get to. Let's see here. So remove from the stream. Okay, so as I always tell people, I'm streaming here on my laptop to StreamYard. And StreamYard has one of the plans that I'm currently on. I might need to downgrade because I can't readily afford it. I would like to keep trying this, but I can't readily afford it. But currently, I can broadcast to 8 different platforms. So I always like to shout out to them and say thank you and feel free to comment here. Most all the platforms can make comments resident to where they're watching, but not all of them can make comments so that it shows up at StreamYard. And that's a dilemma with StreamYard because you want engagement. You of course want engagement and stuff. But anyway, just to shout out a Facebook profile, thank you. Facebook page, I've got both. I'm still trying to learn the difference, but I do have both. And then LinkedIn profile. And that's some of my, Fred comes from that sometimes, and that's always very nice. And then YouTube, I have the 2 channels for YouTube. I don't know if that's, maybe I'll do my YouTube. So that's that. I type it once, but it types 4 times. So sorry, and then Nightbot takes over. So that's exclamation YouTube, and it should come up with my 2 channels. And that's so. Is it very expensive doing that? Well, it is for me. I'm disabled. I'm on a fixed income and stuff. But StreamYard has a free plan, which you can't broadcast to any platforms. You can just do YouTube, but it's not saved. So it's got 20-hour limit. So the first paid plan is called the basic plan, and that's $29 or $25 a month, and you can do 3 destinations, which I would have a lot of trouble picking which 3 to do. And then the one I'm on currently is called the professional plan. And it's, I'm currently paying monthly. I'm trying to fundraise. To get, to pay for the year, but I'm currently paying $49 a month at a time. If you pay for, I mean streaming, I think that's what I'm talking about. I mean streaming. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I thought I was only talking about streaming, but maybe I made something really confusing there. Sorry about that, Fred. So I was on LinkedIn, but I couldn't get the chat working. Oh man, I hope that's not at my end. I'll check it out. I'll see what I can do. I'm not the most technically. I usually rely on StreamYards, but anyway, so the third level I have where I can broadcast up to 8 streams, and that's $49 a month per month. I'm trying to fundraise to get to pay it yearly, and it's $468, which is $39 a month. $39 a month sounds a little more reasonable. It's not super great, but it's still pretty reasonable. But it's hard to. I don't. So I mean streaming. Is it very expensive doing that? I mean streaming. Oh, maybe you're just clarifying your question. I thought you were saying that I wasn't answering the right question. Okay, I think I now understand your statement. I think you're just clarifying what your question was about. So anyway, I mean, it's, I'm not spending $49 and then getting $69 a month back. So I'm not, there is no, I'm disabled too. We have something in common. Well, cool, Fred. I mean, not cool. I mean, I embrace my disabilities, and I usually embrace other people's, but I don't mean to sound excited or positive about people having, disabilities and stuff. But for me, it's an empowering. Anyway, so I'm glad we have something in common, and I hope you're, dealing with it and all that kind of stuff. And but yeah, I'm hoping to. I've been doing these shorts recently, which seems to be a different. That's probably a better outlet for me to use than. Although I should go check. Anyway, the basic plan is $25 a month, but if you pay yearly, it's $20 a month. So $20 a month, that might be. But I would prefer paying $39 a month if I could fundraise $468. But anyway, currently I'm still paying $49 a month, and I've kind of started doing it immediately when I got involved with crime sleuthing with the Idaho 4, and then I actually went out to Idaho for several weeks and stuff. I know what you mean. Amen. Amen. So anyway, it's hard to answer the question, is something expensive, because everybody has to answer that themselves. But I would say $49 is expensive when there's not a specific payback that I see on a monthly basis. So it's more of a conceptual thing. It's more like, okay, I'm growing the channel. I have a goal. I'm trying to approach the goal, and maybe then it will start monetizing and things like that. But so yeah, it's like cable TV or a cell phone, or it's a sunk cost. At least now it's a sunk cost that I pay $49 and it's spent. So but it is it's almost April, so whatever that is, November. Yeah, I didn't start when the people died, but pretty close. So November 3rd, so December 13th, January 13th, February 13th, March 13th, April 13th. So that's, I guess I have at least 4 months. I have 4.5 months doing this. So, whew. Wow, yeah, that's woo, yeah, that's over $200. But anyway, you know, it ebbs and flows. It for sure ebbs and flows. I try to do and I don't know, you know, Fred, I do panels sometimes, and that's been ebbing and flowing. I when I covered crime sleuthing and primarily the Idaho 4, I had quite a few more viewers, and so the panels were bigger and vigorous, and people were rah, 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 and in a good way. You know, they were just sharing their opinions and stuff. So I can continue doing panels, but they're more intimate now. So people are like, I don't want to be the only one on the panel. But anyway, Fred, if you ever wanted to try doing a panel, or we can test it on the smaller nights, or, you know, whatever, just let me know if you want to. You're always invited to one of my panels if you would like to come up. And it, you know, there doesn't have to be a topic, or, you know, like, you know, I mean, just for example, you said you like Formula One and NASCAR. I mean, I could go, wow, Fred, I only like Formula One. How about if you talk about NASCAR? And then I invite you up as a panelist, and then you cover the NASCAR part, you know. And so it could be anything like that, or, you know, you know, like, you know, it could be regionally. I think you're in the Carolinas, and if you've been to the, you know, the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 NASCAR tracks in those 2 states or in that area, it'd be like, hey, we'd love to hear about those tracks. Why don't you tell us a little more about those tracks? You know, so it could be anything like that. And oftentimes I say, if I did one thing in life, which I do not, but if I did one thing in life, which I, of course, do not, but if I did, I would be an advocate. I would be an advocate, mostly self-advocate, but also just an advocate for disabilities, primarily invisible disabilities. So that's my main thing about anything, you know. So it sounds like you enjoy it, so it's worth the money, right? I mean, you know, the money, you know, it's conceptual for sure. Now, I know for sure that I won't be paying $49 a month a year from now. So either I will have raised the $468 to pay for a year at $39 a month, or I've downgraded to the $20 a month, or I've gone to the free, or I've, you know, bailed. So anyway, I tried to put a couple of months into it of like, you know, I mean, I'm you know, I'm disabled, I'm impulsive, I'm, you know, I'm impatient. You know, I wanted to figure it out in a month. And then when the month was coming up, I was like, okay, I'll do it for 2 months and then figure it out. And then after, you know, during the second month, I was like, no, let's just do it until I figure it out. So I tried to make it less urgent of me trying to figure this out. But I mean, it's pretty cool. But you know, with the way my OCD works, I mean, I can, you know, split hair. You know, I mean, every platform I work on could be so much different and better. And Twitter, you know, I mean, Twitter is my biggest market, but Twitter can't make comments on StreamYard. And when I first started doing StreamYard, that was my single reason. You know, that was going to be my single reason of canceling. You know, I was like, I need my, you know, like YouTube, I have 2 people. LinkedIn, I have 2 people. Facebook, I have 2 people. Twitter, I have hundreds of people. So it's like, if those people could talk, that's the engagement. That's the engagement I want. So, and, you know, I've, you know, because of, you know, being an advocate and, you know, whatever, I've talked to StreamYard and Twitter extensively about their incompatibility. And they both made it very clear that, yeah, it's kind of like a wide open divorce. but they were never married, so I can't call it a divorce. But they both make it very open that they are very incompatible with each other, and they don't see any change of that in the future. And I'm like, come on, just in 2 years, can they make comments? Or in 3 months they can make comments? And they said, we don't see it. There's no plan. There's no plan for it in the future at all. I'm like, what are y'all doing? You know, who cares if you like someone? Get a business relationship with them. So anyway, so yeah, Twitter is it's too bad that and YouTube, I have never figured out YouTube. I know I can get YouTube has pretty strict rules, and like I guess they have one of their rules is called profanity, but it's kind of like beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. You know, profanity is in the ears of the viewer. It's not my profanity and what I think about profanity. It's what you all think about profanity. So it's kind of strange and I guess that's, you know, it is about the audience. So I guess it does, but I mean, it's a strange world. You know, I just read, and who is they? I mean, I've read a lot about StreamYard. I've read a lot about YouTube. I've read a lot about TikTok. I've read a lot about Twitter. But YouTube, I do believe they just modified their profanity stance or whatever. And the guy giving the talk, he freely and openly said every cuss word as an example. So which is good, because you don't want to go, oh, I mean the F word or the B word, or, you know, it's like, could you just say the word so we know what you're talking about? But he freely said every word. And he said, if you use this word in the first 7 seconds, you'll be flagged. If you use the same word in later than 7 seconds, if you use it every other word, you'll be flagged. But after 7 seconds, if you use it once every paragraph or once every 2 paragraphs or once every 3, they don't count them. But I mean, they count the F's, but they don't count your paragraphs. I mean, I don't know how. It's AI. AI tries to figure it out. But so this first 7 seconds is really critical. You can't do anything in the first 7 seconds, and then after that, it can be a conversational word that you put into your conversation. And I mean, I'm not really into cussing, but I just, YouTube just, it's not what I'm used to. I mean, I'm not used to having Big Brother constantly looking over me. Plus I do motorsports, plus I'm media, plus I do interviews, plus I do live streaming, plus I do, you know, so a lot of those things are red flags to YouTube. So, you know, I mistakenly showed a couple things one time, and, you know, I was flagged immediately, and I'm like, oh, I guess I can't do that. And then, anyway, it's an oddity. It's an, you know, and I, you know, I try to put everything, or I try to put as much as I can into the description, but I use every single character. So I'm obviously, and, you know, my motorsports events, you know, they're formally called a watch along. You know, I want people to come to my stream and interact with me and stuff, but I can't show anything. I can't show any broadcast and stuff. I mean, I can show live timing. I can show leaderboards. I can show that, but I can't show any broadcast of anything anywhere. And so it's a watch along, you know, so I'm like, hey, it's on Fox TV. If you have TV access, please turn it on. And, you know, my TV service is a YouTube TV. So mine is delayed by like 5, 7, 9 seconds. So, you know, my regulars that have, you know, Xfinity or Comcast, or, you know, they're getting the green flag 10 seconds before me, and they know there's a yellow flag 10 seconds before me, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, you know, and they're like, well, I don't want to ruin it for you. And I'm like, I know, but go ahead. Let us know if there's a yellow, at least, you know. I do like for Twitter, you know, Twitter's live. And when I'm watching a race, if I'm not watching it on TV really clearly, I mean, when I stream, I almost never watch the TV. But if I'm not watching it, you know, Twitter is live. So my Twitter will say, caution, caution, yellow flag, or whatever. And then bam, I put my eyes on the TV and I get to catch the whole thing because it's, 20 seconds in the future. So it is nice. So even, my regular viewers, they're like, I don't want to ruin your yellow flag. And I'm like, there's nothing we can do about it. I can't speed up YouTube and you can't slow up YouTube TV. And you can't speed up, you can't slow down Comcast. I mean, they could pause it, but I mean, whatever. It's just, we all have no one has live. That's always been one of my big points is no one has live TV. And I used to know all the rules, I think years ago, and I think it's still true, but I do believe if something is shown within 15 seconds of it happening, they can still call it live. So if it's within 15 seconds of happening, they can still call it live. So it's like, 15 seconds is a long time. But, and that's probably all of my delay. One of my sons is on YouTube and on Twitter. He's into that cryptocurrency, which I know nothing about. He teaches it. Really? Wow. I know nothing about it and I have no money, but I was on Meerkat, and you've been around a while, Fred, and you've been supportive with everything I've done, but I don't know if you were ever on Meerkat. Meerkat was a live streaming program. It basically was thought of as being the first live streaming app. Periscope actually started like 3 days before it, but then Meerkat took over. But anyway, that was in 2015. So when I was live streaming on Meerkat, there were a great many handful of live streamers that would have contests and, whatever contest they wanted to have, let's have trivia about movie actors or whatever contest they wanted to have. And do you know what the awards were? During these contests, a great many of them, at least 6 or 10 or 12 streamers consistently had Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the prize, and it had a value of less than a penny. So it was like every Bitcoin was a tenth of a penny, I do believe. So there are people giving those away and trading them and taking them back and giving them, so that's amazing right now. This is only this is only 8 years. And, for Microsoft and Apple and, 8 years is a long time. So you really can buy Microsoft super cheap and 8 years later it's worth a lot. But that Bitcoin is worth $70,000 right now. So, I'm just blown away that, there's this one, beautiful woman in Florida, Liz, that gave away, I'm like, Liz, you would be a millionaire if you kept all those. So, and I don't, they're talking about this, dude that's, the young dude that got in trouble and, took advantage of other people for billions of dollars and stuff. And then you hear people saying, well, Bitcoin is the real currency. It's you can't produce it, but this guy who just, stole billions of dollars, he could actually produce it. He could just like printing up paper, which I don't get it. I think certainly back in 2015, Bitcoin kind of was produced too. It was just created out of thin air. So, but I guess that's not true now, supposedly. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Did you ever use Meerkat? Did you see Liz and and these were contests that they weren't exclusive contest. It wasn't like only the smart, there was no exclusivity. It wasn't just the pre-cryptocurrency people, or just just the live streamer. It was anybody could win this thing. So she quite a few people were giving Bitcoin and I forget what a percentage of. No, you weren't. Oh, really? Oh, man. So yeah, it was the wildest thing that I'm trying to remember. There was something else that once Bitcoin started getting a value of like $5 and $7, then there was this something that was like 1/10 of a Bitcoin or something, or 1/100th of a Bitcoin. So there was this other amount that people were using as a. And I forget what that was called. But anyway, I mean, that's woo! That's kind of like being told to buy Microsoft before Bill Gates knew he was going to start the business. That's what it was kind of like. But I didn't put away 100 Bitcoins. I did not. I did. Although, you have to open up something so it can be given to you, and then it's stored. And so I do think I do have more than one account that's I've just never figured out how to open it up. I think that exists, but I don't think it's much. I don't think it's a complete Bitcoin. But anyway, maybe I should figure out what those things are. Okay. Well, thanks, Fred. Thanks for being here. I think I'm going to wrap up here. I wanted to do 30 minutes, and I was close at about 33 minutes, and then poof, 25 more minutes happened. But that's good. I'm glad we talked about all those things. And so, yeah, that was thanks for sharing about your son. I hope, good. I hope he has great success on YouTube and Twitter and cryptocurrency. He teaches it. Man, that's cool. So that's good stuff. All right. So I just wanted to thank my 8 streams. I guess I didn't get all the way through them. So let me try to get through them all this time. So thank you, and thanks for viewing, and thanks for the comments to Facebook profile, Facebook page, LinkedIn profile, my 2 YouTubes, YouTube JoeHart and YouTube Francis Assistant, which is my kitty cat. He's sometimes behind me. He's not there now. Twitch, who I'm not young and I'm not a gamer, so I'm still learning about Twitch, but we stream to them, and they show up and they give me comments, and that's always cool. And in Twitter, I have my 2 Twitter accounts, but 2 of them that are able to work. My primary one doesn't work for some reason. I'm not sure the reason. It happened when I, showed that, something showed on my screen that wasn't supposed to be shown, and then everything was shut down, and then everything was turned back on, but that never fully worked since that day. So I think that's just StreamYard and Twitter just not wanting to get along with each other. So I think neither one will activate it, and neither one will say it's okay to turn it back on, and neither one will. Anyway, that's why I have 2 other accounts. So, okay, thank you to all y'all. And then, as usual, I hit end broadcast twice. And then after I do that, he makes most of his money on subscriptions. Nice. But he also deals with Bitcoin too. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a foreign language to me. As you said, you don't know anything about it. Yeah, it's foreign to me. But that's cool. I'm glad he's able to do that. So I'm gonna let me think here. Thank you, Fred, and everyone. Always do that. See y'all later. I typed that once, but it goes 4 times. So I always thank everybody, the people in this stream as my, basically the last thing I do. So I'm going to hit end broadcast twice, and after that, the comments keep working, and then I'm going to go through my 8 uh, streams and check them out and make sure everything went all right, and then I'll come back, and that usually takes 5 or 10 minutes, and then when I come back, I'll hit leave studio, and then I'll great to be here with you. Well, thanks, Fred. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. So when I hit leave studio, the comments will stop. But I just like people to know that the comments keep going. I know that happens on Brit stream, and I'm like, wait, how did that happen? How are people backstage and all that stuff? So I try to make it so people understand, because I'm still trying to learn how to understand. So great to be here with you. Yes, thank you, Fred, so much. It's great having you here. So thank you. So okay, I'm gonna hit end broadcast in 3, 2, 1. And now I have to hit it a second time. And it used to seem to take like 3 seconds, but I finally checked many of my videos. I'm OCD. I couldn't just check one. But I finally found out that as soon as I hit the end broadcast for the second time, it does end. It looks to me it keeps going for 3 more seconds or 5 more seconds, but it doesn't. So anyway, so end broadcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.